Hello everybody, and welcome back to Cooking with Grandma. And today we are going to be making some cookies. It's a new recipe. I was looking up some kind of healthy-ish sort of snacks so when you get home from school or home from work and you don't want to have real heavy snack or even before bed. So I looked up, and this is all from quakeroats.ca, and it's all the recipes there have oatmeal in it, which is extremely healthy for you, rolled oats. So these are honey pot oatmeal cookies. Now it's not the kind of pot that's legal these days. They call it honey pot because in the old days honey came in little pots. So honey pot oatmeal cookies. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to have put in the bowl is 1 cup of peanut butter. We're going to mix this in. Brand new jar here. Got to take the foil off. Okay. So we need 1 cup of peanut butter. You can use smooth or creamy. It doesn't say, it doesn't specify, it just says peanut butter. But I guess if you want your honey pot cookies to have a crunch to it, go ahead and use crunchy peanut butter. So there we go, 1 cup of peanut butter. Nice. I have smooth peanut butter on hand. That's what I'm using. Okay. And to that we're going to add 1 cup of honey. There, my little honey bear. Give the bear a good squeeze. And we're going to do 1 cup. I'm going to use the same measuring cup as I did with the peanut butter. And take the lid off because squeezing that's going to take a really long time. So, and there we go. 1 cup of honey. I got to save a little of this and not quite get a cup. Daniel Brody is now being an ant collector. He's got a queen ant and she's got little ones, and you need to feed them honey. I'll save a little bit of that honey. So a cup of honey goes in. It was like maybe 1/8 of a cup shy of 1 cup. It won't hurt anything. But because they're called honey pot cookies, honey is the star of the show. Okay, so now you beat the peanut butter, the honey, the sugar, and the butter. And 1/4 cup of sugar. It says to use 1/4 cup of sugar. I'm getting out the butter. It says to use to mix it with the electric beater. I'm going to just start with a spoon, and if it doesn't mix very well, then I'm going to go ahead and get my mixer out. But I'm going to start off with a spoon. So 1/4 cup of sugar and 4 tablespoons of butter. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, put that aside. So we're going to mix this until it's nice and creamy. And because everything is soft, the butter's soft, the peanut butter's soft, the honey is liquid, you shouldn't really need to use an electric mixer. It should go nice and creamy, and look at how easy. And it's so creamy and smooth. You don't need to get out that and go through all that with a beater and all that. Just use a little elbow grease, little power here, little stirring power. Get your arm going. And there you go. Quick and easy peasy. There, it's all mixed in. Now to that, we're going to add egg, milk, and vanilla and mix it in. So 1 egg. 1 egg goes in. And 1/4 cup of milk. 1/4 cup of milk goes in. And 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And I have 1 teaspoon. I have to get my other jar out. That is finished. Where is my other jar of vanilla? I know I have another. There it is. I only got the one out. I didn't realize I was so low, but that's okay. And remember my little tip. The cap on the vanilla top is exactly 1 teaspoon all the time. So put that aside. So we put in egg, milk and vanilla, and we give that a mix. Not a lot of sugar in these, just that 1/4 of a cup, but the honey gives you the extra sweetness. So they're not overly sweet, because apparently, from what a lot of the dietitians and the experts say, honey is a good kind of sweet. It's good for you. So we're going to mix that. Look at how nice and easy. There's no need for a mixer. They're loud, they're messy, it's an extra thing to clean. Why go through it? There we go. Just going to wipe up the slop I made. Okay, so now mix well. Then we now add the oats, the flour, baking soda, and mix that well. So the oats is 2 cups of rolled oats, quick cooking oats. You want quick cooking because they're going to just cook in the cookies. 1 3/4 cup of flour. Is half. These look like they're going to make a lot of cookies. It doesn't say in this recipe how many. 1 3/4. So 1 1/2. And 1/4. 1 3/4 of flour. Dripped it all over my tablet. That's not good. Okay. And 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And always remember, when you put your spoon in the baking soda box, you don't want to come out with it like that. You want to scrape it along the top where the cardboard is, and that gives you a nice level spoonful. So you're always getting the exact right amount. Because baking soda is harsh. It's got a harsh flavor, and you don't want, if you don't mix it in really well, or if you use more than the recipe calls for, and you get a bite of that, oof, there's no way to describe it unless you've bitten into a cookie or a piece of cake that hasn't had the baking soda all. I mean, just take a taste. Just take a taste on the end of your finger, and that's what it'll taste like if it's not mixed through. Alrighty. Here we go, and that is all there is to our honey pot cookies. I'm going to get these on a cookie sheet. Get them in the oven. Now it also calls for nuts, which are optional. I'm not going to use any nuts today. So you combine all that. Heat the oven. Drop by rounded tablespoonfuls onto ungreased cookie sheets and bake 7 to 10 minutes. Well, again, that's going to be a very big cookie, so we'll see. Whenever I make a recipe the very first time, I always kind of like to follow along with exactly the way it says, but I sometimes alter it if I find like a tablespoon seems like an awful lot, if they're going to be big and they're going to spread. Plus, if you make them a little bit smaller, you just get more bang for your buck. You get more cookies. So, scooch my bowl over here and go ahead and see what it looks like. Take the rounded tablespoonfuls. Okay. So, it says ungreased, but I'm going to go ahead and use my parchment. Now, see, that's a very large cookie. You see that? That's really a large cookie. So, I think I'm going to do like 1/2 tablespoon, just for the sake of the fact that it seems like a very big cookie. I don't think we need that big of a cookie. I'm going to take, actually, you know what? I can do that. I'm going to take that off and do it again. I can still get a rounded tablespoon without a heaping. See, there it is. That's a rounded tablespoon. I was doing more of a heaping tablespoon. That was too much. Because then when you push it off the spoon, it's a mound. It's nice and round. There we go. I don't know if these are going to rise, or spread. They won't rise because there's no baking powder, but I don't know if they'll spread because they are kind of a wet cookie. So let's just see what happens. Let me go ahead and get a dozen on here and get them in the oven. And while they're cooking, I'll get another couple of trays ready. It says it only takes 7 minutes, 7 to 10 minutes. So we'll start with 7 and see how long it takes actually. Okay. set the oven timer for 7 minutes. And we'll make some more here. Somebody really needs to invent smell-o-vision, or you know what would be nice, scratch and sniff. Do you ever see those, like the toys in the store, or different certain things, or like food and stuff? It's scratch on your tablet or your computer and you can smell how good this is. This looks so, they look really very good. And like I said, they're healthy-ish. They have sugar in them, but not a lot. It's 1/4 cup of sugar spread over how many ever dozen. So far I'm going to get probably about 4 dozen, because 1 dozen's in the oven, and this is going to be another dozen right here. And then you've got the honey for sweetener, but again, honey is a good kind of sweet. It's not like eating a boatload of sugar. So that's how you want to figure how much, like a lot of recipes tell you these days how many calories per cookie, or how many grams of sugar. This one unfortunately doesn't have that information. It just says that it is cook time is 7 minutes, and snacking has never been more tempting. Cookies are loaded with popular favorites, Quaker oats combined with honey and peanut butter. So it doesn't say what the amounts that you're getting. But again, it's not that bad. There we go. So we're going to get at least 3 dozen, probably a little more. Now as I'm working with this, I'm finding that it's thickening up. It was a little bit wet. It's getting thicker as it sits. Everything's kind of combining with the oats, and it's kind of blending, going together. So it's not quite of a gooey dough as it was. It's still wet, but it's not real liquidy. Because I thought for a minute we were going to have some oozy cookies. But it is, yeah, I'm going to get 3 dozen. 3, 6, 9, 10. If they don't spread, I'm going to go ahead, because I have enough for probably 3 cookies left in the bowl. So if they don't spread, I'm going to go ahead and squeeze them in. So I don't want to have to use another cookie sheet just for like 3 or 4 cookies. But if they spread, then that's a shame. And I'm just kind of peeking, and they don't look like they're going to. So I'm going to go ahead and move a couple of these guys over right on the edge. And I'm just going to do like 4 in a row instead of 3. Just because I don't want to have an extra dish to wash. The easier the better, right? I mean, the less work you make for yourself and the less cleanup. There we go. So yeah, see, that gave us an extra 6, I think. So 4, 8, 12. There's 12 right there. 13, 14, 13, 14, 15. So we got an extra 16 cookies. Or sorry, an extra 6. 4, 8, 12. So we have extra 4 cookies. Probably 5. Yeah, an extra 5 cookies. I'll put this one on the other tray that's about to go in. So, you don't want to have to go ahead and carry a cookie sheet for 5 cookies. There we go. Now, see how they look in the oven. Put that bowl out of the way. And there's 3 minutes left on the timer. So, while they're finishing up, I'm going to make one more recipe today. I'm going to make zucchini bread. I love zucchini bread. My kids love zucchini bread. And it's really good. And if you have picky eaters that don't like veggies, making something like this is a way to get them to eat their vegetables, because zucchini is one of those like acquired taste kind of things. You really have to. I don't care for it raw or like cooked, but I'll eat it in bread. So you want to sneak in vegetables. I always had my kids try something once. If they didn't like it, that's fine. You tried it. You don't have to eat it. A couple years later, try it again. Still don't like it, don't eat it. There's enough other fruits and vegetables out there that can take their place. So for the zucchini bread, what we're going to do, this is actually zucchini blueberry bread. I'm going to twist it up a little bit here. I saw this recipe when I was looking for my zucchini bread recipe, And I thought, oh, zucchini and blueberries, that's interesting. So I'm gonna try. So in the large bowl, we have to beat together the eggs, the oil, vanilla, and the sugar. So, all right, this calls for 3 eggs. Did I not get 3 eggs out? Oh, there it is. Thought I was missing an egg. There we go. So we're gonna put 3 eggs in the bowl. It is a good tip to crack your eggs into a separate bowl and then put it in here in case you get shells, but if you're real careful. So we need, and then 1 cup of vegetable oil. Remember, you always put your measuring cup down on the counter because that way it pours it evenly. If you're holding it and kind of jiggle a little bit, you might get a little less, you might get a little more, and then your amounts are off, and sometimes that's going to make a huge difference. So we got 1 cup of oil, and now we need 3 teaspoons of vanilla. 1, 2, and 3 teaspoons of vanilla. Okay, I'm almost out of that. I'm going to put that on my grocery list. Okay, so beat together the eggs, oil, and vanilla. Oh, eggs, oil, vanilla, and sugar. Okay, one more thing. This is, I'm copying this off of my tablet, and gonna keep scrolling up and down, so sorry about that. I just had to go back and forth. And we need 2 1/4 cups of white sugar. There's half. There's 1 and a 4th. Excuse me. And that was our timer, so I'm going to put this on hold just a minute and take these cookies out, see if they're done. They are going to need another minute or 2. They're just barely brown, but they're still very, very, very soft. Okay, so I'm going to add 2 minutes to the timer and check them in a minute. Alright, so we're going to beat the oil, eggs, vanilla, and sugar well together. Again, no need for a mixer. Just go ahead and use a wooden spoon. Just give it a good stir. The oil is going to be a little resistant. If you see it's kind of pooling, just keep mixing. It'll catch in. It'll mix in. The sugar will grab it. And you can feel it when it's all mixed in. You don't feel the grit from the sugar, and you see no lumps of egg yolk. You'll tell when you can tell when it's all done. There. See, nice and creamy. And now there's no pools like there was before of the vegetable oil. Okay, now to that we are going to, we're going to fold in the zucchini. So we need 2 cups of zucchini. Okay, so this is really easy. You just buy zucchini, or if you grow it in the garden, get yourself a box cutter. It's super simple, doesn't take any effort, and just grate a whole. You don't peel it, you don't do anything to it. Cut the ends off and just, there you go, up and down, up and down. I did most of it before, but just in case there was somebody out there that wasn't quite sure, some food processors have a grate, a plate on a blade that you can grate with, and but I mean, this is just as easy. I did try to get my big processor out because I thought I was going to do more than 2 cups, and when I realized it was only 2 cups, I thought, no, I'm not going to get that great big machine out and go through all that. So there, that is how quick and easy that is to grate zucchini. And here is my measuring cup, and there we go, 2 cups. Just a tiny bit left in there. I'll go ahead and throw it in. So we're going to fold this in. Put that in. Put that in. Now fold means just scoop it. You take it from the bottom and you turn it over like that. You don't want to stir it. You don't want to over mix things. cakes and muffins and cupcakes, you don't want to overmix. It'll make them dense, and they'll be they'll be okay, but they'll just be more of a dense cake. So you just fold, you just do this. And I'm going to stop this for a second because our cookies the timer's done. And there we go. Oh, aren't they nice? So I'm going to move this away just to show you. There are our honey pot cookies. They are gorgeous. They're still they're a very soft cookie, and they're nice and golden brown on the bottom. That's exactly what you want right there. It makes a difference with parchment paper than on just a flat sheet because they cook more evenly with the parchment. So I'm going to go ahead and stick our other 2 trays in the oven. And set that guy down there. Cool. I have my cooling rack, but because they're on parchment, they're not going to stick to the paper, so I'm okay with that. So now get back to our. Okay, so now we're going to beat in the flour, salt, baking powder, baking soda, and cinnamon. So pretty much everything that's left on the list except the blueberries. So we need 3 cups of flour. This is going to make, now this says 4 mini loaf pans. I'm just going to go ahead and use 2 regular size ones because I might have 2 mini ones, but come on now. Why go through all that and get all those extra dirty dishes? This isn't going to last long. I'm going to give half to my son and his girlfriend, and half to my daughter and her girlfriend, and the rest for us, and it'll be gone in 2 days. My kids love this, and Dinah Brody is really, really crazy for zucchini bread. So we need 3 cups of flour. Here's and this is nice because you don't have to put it in a separate bowl and then stir it, mix it, and then combine it. You know, just dump it all in. There's half. That's 1. Half. I tried to get those scoop measuring cups that I told you all about from Dollarama, and they didn't have them. I was so angry because I thought, oh, I finally remembered to get them, and they were out of them. So there's 3 cups of flour, 1 teaspoonful of salt, 1 teaspoonful of salt, okay, 1 teaspoonful of baking powder. And again, make sure that when you scoop it in, you don't pull it out like that. Sorry, let me get this in for you. You don't pull it out like that and get a whole heaping spoonful. You scrape it along the edge, and that evens it out for you. So you got a nice, even, flat teaspoon. So a teaspoon of baking powder and 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. Okay, 1/4 of a teaspoon. And that's in. And a tablespoon. Ooh, I like that. I love cinnamon. A tablespoon of cinnamon. And a tablespoon of cinnamon. And that's in. So we're going to mix that all in. Give that a nice gentle stir. I should have used a bigger bowl. It's going to be a little tricky to mix this all in. Again, you don't want to mix and mix and mix. You just want to mix till the dry ingredients are incorporated. Otherwise, you're going to have very dense bread. And also, it can, when you cut into it, it can leave a lot more air holes. If you get too many air pockets, if you whip too much air into your batter, it will cause air pockets, air bubbles in you'll cut open the cake, and when you go to put a butter on your slice of zucchini bread, and there's a nice big hole where the butter can't go. So I have learned all these little things. I mean, sometimes most things, my mom taught me, but I mean, I just sat there and watched her. She explained some things, but I just learned by watching. But some things you just trial and error as you go along and bake and cook. So there, that's it. So now we're going to gently fold in the blueberries, and then we're going to put it in the mini pans. So it says a pint of fresh blueberries. Where did I get my blueberries? Okay, now I'm kind of losing them. Oh, they're there. But I just had those blueberries. I know I took them out of the fridge. So there we go. And There's a little, maybe a titch over a pint, not much. And we're doing a very, I've never made zucchini bread with blueberries, but this looks lovely. I've heard of it, I've seen a lot of recipes. I thought, well, why not? Let's use it. Again, very carefully. So I'm going to go ahead and get my loaf pans out and prepare this. So I got my pans ready. Instead of greasing them and flouring them, I did line them with parchment paper. You just take one sheet and put it in there to fit, and you leave a little bit hanging, so when your cake or when your bread is done, you just can lift it right up out of there and put it on a cooling plate. So I'll put it right down in there. I've got the big one. This is a medium size, because like I said, the recipe said for 4 mini zucchini bread pans, or loaf pans, bread pans. I have 1 mini, 1 small, or 1 medium like this, and 1 large one. So I'm going to make 1 large one and 1 medium. There we go. Now these do have to bake for a while, so I'm going to put y'all on a pause, and we'll come back when these are done, because these bake anywhere between 45 and 50 minutes. So you know, if I don't pause the video and come back, I will have to stop it and then show you what it looks like the next time I make something. So this is what I can do. I'm going to just pause it until we get back to it. Okay, and we're back. I just wanted to show you the results of our blueberry zucchini cake. The little one is done. The big one's got a few more minutes to cook. Now I'm going to show you. You take a toothpick. You're right here. Let's see. Can't get that camera. There it is. You take that toothpick and you stick it in the cake all the way down. And when you pull it out, I just poked it through a blueberry. Let me try that again. When you put it in, if it comes out clean like this, it's perfectly clean. Where am I here? Trying to get this in the camera. Hang on. And it comes out real clean. That means this cake is done. So we're going to stick it in, and there you go. It's nice and clean. There's no crumbs, there's no dough, there's no batter on the stick. That means it's done. And being that I put the parchment paper, lined it with, you just go like this, set it down, give it a slice with a nice sharp bread knife. You don't pick up the pot that just came out of the oven by your bare hands. That's not a good idea. So we're going to just slice into it here. Nice piece. And, oh, the blueberries are all at the bottom. That's interesting. I folded them all in nicely. And that is what it looks like inside. Doesn't that look delicious? So there we go. Zucchini blueberry bread and honey pot cookies. That's what's on for today. I hope you'll enjoy and try these recipes. Let me know how they work out for you. And if there's anything you'd like to see, be sure to let me know in the comment section. Anything at all, I will, if I've never made it before, I will find out how to make it. Like the Sex in a Pan pudding cake I had never made. One viewer asked me, I got it, I did it. It was delicious, by the way. And anything you want, whether it's sweet or savory, supper, dinner, lunch, breakfast, it doesn't matter. I'll get it, I'll do it for you. So please be kind with your comments, leave a like. If you haven't already subscribed, thank you to those who have. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe, ring the bell so you know when I'm back in my kitchen again. All right, bye now.